folks, how are ya? Yes, this is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. This is the Views Expressed live right here for the 5th of August, 2014. Yes, I am live. This is not Memorex. This is not a podcast. This is live right here on the Free America Radio Network, broadcasting live from behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 9. In the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada. How y'all doing today? Are you good?
Here I am at U.S. Border Patrol.
Lots of things going on. Like this. You know, the border, everything going on, that kind of thing. Check this out. It's coming up. Hang on. There you go.
How you doing, U.S. Border Patrol? How many people on board?
Me?
You're a citizen.
Yeah, but does it really matter?
Not anymore, unfortunately. Thank you.
You too.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Does it matter? No, unfortunately, it doesn't. Okay? This is going on, folks. This is going on. This is happening right at our borders. There is no question about it. This is a complete and utter takeover of the United States of America as we know it. And reports have come out that the influx of people have decreased over time. So that's a good thing. But when you have Border Patrol agents at a checkpoint asking if you're a citizen, and you say yes, but doesn't matter, and the Border Patrol agent says, not really, unfortunately, not anymore, they get it, folks. They get it. Now I know a lot of people may think, well, you know, hey, you know, it's what it is. It's this. You know, give us your huddled masses. You're poor. And we have to. No, folks. What part of $18 trillion do you not understand? Yeah, we're in debt. USDebtClock.org. You can check it out. The real number is somewhere in the vicinity of about 60 or 70 trillion dollars. There's a lot that people do not know. You know, just a lot. And I look at it this way. The more that you and I know, the better off we are. The more that you and I know, the better off that we'll be, because we'll be educated enough to look at this situation and then plan for what we're going to do tomorrow. I'm not hoping for this, but I'm sure that at some point martial law will be implemented. I'm sure. I don't think there's going to be any notice beforehand. I just think it's going to be implemented. I hope it doesn't happen, and I hope I'm wrong. I don't think I am, but I just hope it doesn't happen. I'll be back right after this. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce from the Free America Radio Network. Prepare yourself for the unexpected. Have an emergency food supply available when you need it. You never know when the next power outage or natural disaster will happen. Are you prepared when it does? Go to Free America Radio Network website and click on the Store tab and get your emergency food supply now. Go to freeamericaradio.us. A natural disaster could happen at any time. Be prepared. Go to freeamericaradio.us and click on the Store tab to get your emergency food supply today. That's freeamericaradio.us and click on the Store tab and prepare in case something happens. Listen to the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, Friday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. Photography is an art form, and Adventures in Photography shows you all of the forms of art there is in our world. Spencer Hughes captures the colors and works of natural art in his book, Adventures in Photography. For more information, go to SpencerHughesPhotography.com. Tearing down the walls that stand between freedom and tyranny. Revealing who is behind the curtain, pushing the buttons and pulling the handles. Sharing the truth, one fact at a time. From behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 9. From the biggest little city in the world, this is The Views Expressed Live. Yes, it is, and we are live on this 5th of August 2014. What can I say, folks? What can I say? A lot of things going on. Just a lot of things going on. As I said before, things change seemingly every 5 minutes. And we just don't know what to believe anymore from our state-run media. Free America Radio, sharing the truth, one fact at a time. But I'll be honest with you, folks, I don't know it all. I know the facts, I know they're out there, I have to verify a lot of it. And I see a lot of it on other independent and alternative media sites, and I see a lot of it in the state-run media, and I do read Reuters and, things like that, and Fox News, and because I want to get their take on it, try to piece it together and find out who's lying and who isn't. I can tell you right now that the state-run media will do everything they can to spin it, to lie to you, and to shove all the truth and the facts underneath the rug or throw them out completely. I know this. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. Let me check my activity. I got a couple of things there that seem to pop up every so often. So let me look at Free America Radio on Facebook, if you would, please. Thank you. You'll see the video from toprightnews.com. You won't believe what this Border Patrol agent says at a checkpoint, and you'll see the full video of the audio I played earlier. And if you just now joined me, let me play that audio for you. If you haven't heard, matter of fact, go to Free America Radio on Facebook. You'll see it there. Just scroll down. It'll be there. From theeventchronicle.com, Vladimir Putin exposes the New World Order worth every single minute. And I read this in a podcast, but basically there's a 4-part video there on the site at theeventchronicle.com that you really need to take a look at. Also from truthandaction.org, New York Department of Homeland Security will pay $500 to rat out fellow citizens buying legal goods such as MREs and all of that. TheBlaze.com news crew booted from filming outside an empty prison. Now people are wondering what's going on in there. Also from The Blaze, VA officials will get millions of dollars in bonuses under House-Senate agreement. And all you Christians out there, let me point my finger right at you. I'm a spiritual person. I believe in a much broader view of the energies that we label as God, Nirvana, Christ consciousness, whatever it may be, that suits your limited ideal of what you believe to be God. But I'm a very spiritual and very, knowledgeable individual about that. And I'm a spiritual person, not religious. So if I were to tell you that I believe in God, I do. So, from theblaze.com, is the IRS planning to crack down on pastors and churches? Yeah, pretty much. That was their goal to begin with when they discovered that they can infiltrate the churches through the 501c3 document that they sign. With the IRS, and the IRS is going to do that, has settled a lawsuit brought by a secular activist group and an atheist group, reportedly agreeing to adopt standards for determining and investigating whether churches and religious organizations violated restrictions on political activity. Pastors, you have the First Amendment. You can talk about anything from that pulpit. And if the IRS gets pissed off, there's always going independent, isn't there? So, thenewamerican.com, in Latin America, Russia and China push New World Order. There's a lot of those articles there as well. It's interesting to note that people who talk about the New World Order, talk about patriotism in the U.S., talk about, getting extra or emergency food supplies, which you can get on freeamericaradio.us at the top of the page. People talk about that and talk about, preparing and getting underground shelters and all this. And that's patriotic because we know that something may happen and we know that we have the opportunity to be able to survive. Okay? That is our freedom to do so. It is our freedom to grow a food garden in our yard. It is freedom to have guns and ammunition to protect us. It is freedom to have extra food and supplies just in case. Okay? But the federal government, Washington, D.C., doesn't want you to have that. Oh, no. You're a patriot. You have food. You have extra stuff. No. You're going to get what we give you. That is the government's ideal scenario. No, folks. The government is now totally and absolutely corrupted by various organizations, including the Muslim Brotherhood. Washington, D.C. is not a place to be anymore for specific political needs because it's corrupted. Completely and utterly corrupted. And don't even look to your local areas. I mean, you can do some good because there are some really good people in some areas. Your mayors, your councilmen, your governors. There are some really good constitutional people that will stand up against the government, and they already have. I think Kentucky and a few other states have decided we're getting out of Common Core. We're getting out of Obamacare. We're nullifying every federal law that comes out of Washington, D.C., including, gun control laws. So there's a lot of good people around. But those in Washington, D.C., they're nothing but criminals. They don't really care. They don't care about you. They don't care about the laws. They don't care about the Constitution. They can care less. I just noticed in the Spreaker chat, Mr. Nick is over there. Hello, Nick. Yes. See his stuff up on Facebook. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. The point is that Washington, D.C. is gone. It is gone, it is gone, it is gone, much like New York State, much like Michigan, much like California. incrementally the 50 states are collapsing. They're one right after the other. There's a lot of things that are going on that people need to pay attention to. And I, myself, personally, on this show, I don't have to go on iHeartRadio. I don't have to go and rent a studio and beg for money all the time and all this. I do ask that you donate to help Free America Radio go to the next level. What that does is pay for the platform that I'm on. But I'm not like any other radio host. I'm a one-man operation. I do this not only to get the information out, to open it, hopefully to get you to think and open up your eyes, but I do it because I love to do it. I see what's going on and I want to inform other people, and that's why Free America Radio is sharing the truth one fact at a time. And as I said before, I don't have all the answers. But I got the answers to some of the things that I can interpret that are going on behind the scenes, who's pushing the buttons and pulling the handles, and I can tell you who it is and what they're planning on doing because I've studied this for many, many years. So what's coming down the line? I'll tell you what's coming down the line. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this doesn't happen. But I would say, given the trend, seeing what's happening right now, I would say prior or just shortly thereafter of the midterm elections, there's going to be a push, a continued push, I should say, and possibly the implementation of martial law. I hope that doesn't happen, but with everything that's going on, we can expose these criminals for who they are, and that may stop them for now. But we've got a presidential election, as if it matters, in 2016 for the corporate controllers that operate Washington, D.C. to insert their puppet into the suit at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And we'll see what happens then. But I can tell you right now, since, I'll go back farther than Bill Clinton. Since Ford and Carter and George Bush, King Bush the First, it accelerated a little more in the Clinton administration. It accelerated just a wee bit more in the Bush administration, and now we have the Obama administration. I always ask people this: would it have made a difference if Romney was president? In the last 5 years, the tyranny in this country, the push for a tyranny, for a new world order, for a North American Union, for the collapse of America has accelerated to an nth degree that we, the people, can stop. But it's going to take guts, and it's going to take a lot of work. If our military, your brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers, aunts and uncles, work every day to protect this country, then what are we, the people, the citizens of the United States of America, doing? I was in the military, trained every day, out marching, out, exercising, out doing PT, out just doing it, you name it. What are we doing now? Yeah, we're going to work. Yeah, we're going to the warehouse. We're going to the retail store. We're going, to work. We're helping our families. We get a paycheck every 2 weeks, whatever, or every week, depending. But what are we doing on the weekends? What are we doing every day? How are we managing our time? This is a biggie, folks. How are we managing our time? Now, Nick Tucker, myself, many other independent and alternative media folk, they do hours and hours and hours and hours of research. Some when they can, some that's all they do. But I'm going to tell you this. That's not enough. That's like a coach at a football meeting with all his players looking at the films of the games and saying, look what the opposition did. Look at that. Study their moves. Study their moves. Look at where they went. Look at that. And he stops the film, stills it, and he points out this is a weakness for the opponent. What are we doing? Well, we're showing you the weaknesses of our opponents. That's what we're doing. You're part of Team USA. What the hell are you doing? You sitting there chomping on your big fat burritos, watching Honey Boo Boo? What the hell is going on with you people? You need to be out every day, every day after work, training an hour, 2 hours a day. On the weekends, it should be 6 or 7 or 8 hours a day. You should find a public land somewhere or shooting range and go out and do some target practicing. Just to keep your skills up. Because I'm showing you, I've put the film on freeze frame and I'm showing you exactly who the enemy is and where their weaknesses are. And guess what? You're walking out going, I get paid in 2 weeks. I got a bill to pay. I wonder if I can save this kind of money to go get, my new car next year. I got a vacation coming up in 6 months. How much money can I save? It's all on your backs, folks. I'm ready, willing, and able to lead hundreds of people to defend this nation if I have to. What are you doing? But another question should be, how is what is going on affecting you? That's a biggie. That's a biggie. Do you get so frustrated by hearing the state-run media talk about this stuff and spin it any way they want and you know damn well they're lying? Do you just get so fed up you turn the TV off? Or do you sit there and yell at the screen and whatever? How about taking that energy, that yelling at the screen energy, and do something positive with it? How about taking those moments when you shut the TV off? Why don't you sit down and plan how you're going to get your family out of the city when everything goes to hell in a handbasket? Why don't you take out a map and look at strategic places where you can be to hopefully survive? And if that means leaving the state where you live, then you have to leave. Let me tell you what happened here recently. Not here in Reno, but down in El Paso, Texas. I don't know, your state-run media is never going to tell you this. The border convoy. You heard of that? Go to guerrillamedianetwork.com. Check that out. And you can listen to the situation that happened to Pete Santilli and some of his people. The gist of the story was they had to grab, some sleep. They had to, grab a motel somewhere. They were on their way to, I think they were in El Paso. And Pete Santilli says at 4 something in the morning, he gets a bang on the door. He opens the door and this really tall, beefed out looking dude with an AR strapped across him said, "You got 10 minutes to grab your stuff and get out of here." He asked why. The drug cartels and all of their minions were surrounding the place. Apparently, I don't have any verification on that end, but I know that the Texas Citizens Militia saved a whole lot of lives that day. They packed up. They had to change a few things and find another place to be. But this is the kind of crap that is happening down on the border. And I'm ready, willing, and able to lead hundreds of people down to the border, down to the southern border of Nevada, and keep them out of here. Who's with me? You got the ideal transportation? Contact me. You know strategy, you know topography of this area and that area down there? Let me know. You live in the Reno, Sparks, Carson City area and you want to go and protect the borders of Nevada? Let's head it on out. Because we have to defend the United States of America from enemies foreign and domestic. And the first thing we have to do is get rid of unconstitutional leaders, quote unquote, out of our local areas. Sheriff Doug Gillespie down there in Clark County. When that whole situation happened back in April, and Pete Santilli, that video that you saw, that was him. That was his video. He called 911 to get the sheriff out there because he saw the BLM doing things illegally and all of that. He wanted to know what was in that truck. The sheriffs never came out. But oh boy, the Citizens Militia stepped up to the plate and came down there. I think there's still people down there rotating out every once in a while. It's time we do what we have to do, folks, and we have to get a reality check and a gut check all at once, and we have to determine whether or not we want this country to stay free. And if we want this country to stay free, then we have to do everything we can to make that happen. By the way, it's your country too. Do you want your kids to grow up later on in life, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, looking at you and saying, you know, Mom, Dad, what the hell did you do? Why didn't you defend it? Why didn't you defend freedom? Can you actually look at your grandkids and say, well, we did our best? I don't think so. I think they're going to expect a hell of a lot more from us. I don't know, folks. I mean, I'll get to some of the news here in a bit. But I got to tell you, it's entirely up to you. Serious. I'm serious. It is up to you. I don't know what else to say except that you really want somebody to come bashing down your door and demand from you that you pay for everything they want, because that's exactly what's happening at the border. I am for legal, L-E-G-A-L, legal immigration. You do it the right way. You do it the right way, I'll shake your hand, buy you a drink. You come crawling over the fence or digging through a tunnel or just going through one of the open areas, crossing the border, not gonna happen, Jose. Pack it up and get back home. You want peace, liberty, and freedom? You fight it in your own country. You defend it in your own country. The first thing that Mexico has to do is get rid of all the drug cartels. They've been trying that for the last 25 years. Oh, and by the way, did you know that the CIA trained the Zetas that was supposed to keep the drug cartels from getting into the U.S.? Guess what happened? The Zetas, flipped the bird to the CIA and said, screw you people. By the way, it's all connected. Yes, it's all connected. It's all connected. Folks, I'm going to take a little break here, just a couple of minutes, just bottom of the hour, you know, that kind of thing. So, talk to you in a bit. Be right back. What's that moving in the shadows? Claranormal Talk Radio with your host, Steve Hembry, right here on RadioKahuna.com. Listen to Crash Talk with your host, Christopher John Taylor, on HTLA973.com.
Misfit is a misfit.
Samo.
Ignorant of hygiene. Destructive, disorderly, and totally disrespectful.
It's the 515 with Samo on Samo Radio.
AM 1700 Daytona Beach, Holly Hill.
And Southnet 1.
Take the last train to Boston. See them rolling run. He's leaving. On that midnight train to Georgia.
Sarasota's home for R&B and soul. The Razor Blade Express with Dave the Rave. Get ready.
Hey, folks. Welcome back. This is the 5th of August, 2014. This is Views Express Live. Yes, it's not a podcast. I had a podcast on yesterday because, well, things come up and you can't really avoid them. So, I had to take care of it. I did a podcast. I was on vacation for 2 weeks. If you ever get a chance, or if you've never been, I suggest going to San Francisco. It is, let's just say it's different. If you live in the Reno, Carson City area, or if you live in the Las Vegas area and you've seen the tall buildings and all of that, let me tell you, San Francisco is really, really different, a whole lot different than Las Vegas. I've been to both, and it's amazing. It's really, really amazing. You can't walk down, a street. I've been there before, and it was like, wow, I never noticed this. I was here, 6 months ago. So, lots of good stuff in San Francisco. Lots of great stuff. But anyway, Free America Radio on Facebook. Let's wander on over there. Actually, let's go to Drudge Report. I'm going to grab a headline from there. And I want to I need to say this before I go to this article. We're all about privacy, are we not? We don't want anybody knowing all of our business, so that's why we got the curtains closed and the doors closed. Did you know that now, I think the militarized law enforcement have cameras that can see right through the walls? Yeah, sort of like your TSA naked body scanners at the airport. So, there's nothing that you can do that you can hide, and they're going to know what you're doing, okay? That's just the way it is. TheTelegraph.co.uk. Pedophile snared as Google scans Gmail for images of child abuse. Hundreds of millions of email accounts are now being routinely scanned for illegal images thanks to sophisticated new Google software. Technology giant Google has developed state-of-the-art software which proactively scours hundreds of millions of email accounts for images of child abuse. The breakthrough means pedophiles around the world will no longer be able to store and send vile images via email without the risk of their crimes being known to authorities. Details of the software emerged after a 41-year-old convicted sex offender was arrested in Texas for possession of child abuse images. Police in the United States revealed that Google's sophisticated search system had identified suspect material in an email sent by a man in Houston. Child protection experts were automatically tipped off and were then able to alert the police, who swooped after requesting the user's personal information from Google. It is hoped the software will play a significant role in the ongoing fight against pedophiles who believe they can use the internet to operate in the shadows and avoid detection. Google, which has sometimes faced criticism for not doing enough to tackle pedophilia online, has been developing highly specialized software for a number of years. Do you see what they're doing behind the scenes, folks? In 2008, it rolled out new technology that helped the authorities trace those who were using its search engine to look for illegal images. What are illegal images, folks? Let's define that one. But while the company refused to comment on its latest case, the arrest in Texas confirms that the software is now being applied to scan the Google's hugely popular email service. Google's Gmail is the world's largest free web-based email service with more than 425 million users worldwide. It is understood that the software works by comparing images held in the user's accounts against a vast database of child abuse images which have been collated by child protective agencies around the world. Each one of the images is given a unique fingerprint known as a hash, which is then used to compare with those held in the database. The system operates automatically, and nobody working for Google is able to see any of the images being examined. If a match with one of the images on the database is found, a red flag is raised, and one of the child protective agencies, such as the UK's Internet Watch Foundation or the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in the US, is alerted. Trained specialists at the organizations then examine the image and decide whether to alert police. While the technology will be seen as a huge boost to the fight against child abuse and exploitation, the ability of Google to look into people's personal email accounts has raised questions for privacy campaigners. Early in the year, Google confirmed that email accounts were being scanned for content to provide, quote-unquote, personally relevant adverts to users. I told you about that, didn't I? Last month, the National Crime Agency, the NCA, announced that more than 600 suspected pedophiles, including doctors, teachers, and care workers, had been arrested in a major crackdown on the trade in images of abuse. While the NCA refused to discuss tactics, it is thought experts had made a breakthrough in cracking the so-called dark web, a part of the internet which has been notoriously difficult to monitor and police. So there you go, folks. Whoops. There you go. You also want to know something else from the smokinggun.com. Microsoft is also scanning for illicit images. Like Google, fellow tech giant spies email storage accounts. Today, this was posted today. No, Google isn't the only tech giant scanning your online accounts for illicit images. Microsoft does the exact same thing, according to a criminal complaint filed last week against a Pennsylvania man accused of using the tech titan's email and cloud storage service. Tyler James Hoffman, 20, was arrested by state police and booked into Monroe County Correctional Facility on 5 felony charges related to his alleged possession and distribution of child pornography. Hoffman, seen in the above mugshot, is locked up in lieu of a $50,000 bail. According to a July 31st criminal complaint, Microsoft twice detected Hoffman uploading illicit images to his SkyDrive account earlier this year. The firm then passed on details of the uploads to the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children, which in turn tipped law enforcement officials. While the complaint does not detail how Microsoft identified the illicit images, it seems likely that the firm, like Google, uses sophisticated software to compare stored photos with known child porn images and that have been previously obtained by law enforcement agencies worldwide. It seems likely that similar analysis is done by other large email providers like Yahoo and AOL. During questioning last Thursday, Hoffman, who used a MicrosoftLive.com email address, reportedly admitted to receiving and trading child porn via his cell phone, adding that he sought to upload illicit images to SkyDrive, which recently was renamed OneDrive. Hoffman is scheduled for an August 14th preliminary hearing in the Magisterial District Court. Okay, question. Big, massive, huge question here. You have images on your computer, on your hard drive, on your cloud, whatever. You're not doing anything. They're just pictures that you look at. If you never commit an act of abuse or any acts related to pedophilia, does that make you guilty? Does that make you guilty? Much like the idea that you have a friend who doesn't drink at all, but takes you to a bar and you're enjoying yourself, you're drinking a Coke, and that's all you're drinking, you're just drinking a Coke. You're not a drinker. You drink water, you drink Coke, whatever. Your friend has drank so much whiskey that he's bombed out of his gourd, and you finally convince him to go home. You're driving. Your friend is over on the passenger side, just really out of it, and they pull you over. Are you guilty by association of drunk driving? I don't think so. Okay? I don't think so. You come out clean with the breathalyzer, all of that. Your friends just tell you, he's out, So, the same thing. Are you guilty by association for having these pictures? Okay? It's like, what? You did it too? You drove a car sober while your friend was drunk? Are you guilty of that? Of associating with the drunk? See, all of these things can be battled out in court, but the court system itself, here's my point, is so rigged to do one thing and one thing only, to put you in the prison industrial complex, to make you a slave. Why do you think this 20-year-old has now got a $50,000 bail that he's not going to be able to pay? Why do you think he's going to jail? Because they need bodies. That's one aspect of it. By the way, if he bonds out at $5,000, he's still going to be, watched and tracked and everything else. But let me ask you this, too, as well. If you have never committed a crime or, stealing candy or something as a kid or whatever, or ran a red light or whatever, you would then be seen as somewhat of I use this term loosely, a saint, because you didn't commit a crime. You're good. You didn't commit a crime. But you're out walking. You jaywalk. Right? And some egotistical, arrogant SOB of a militarized law enforcement official comes rolling up, barreling up in his car and says, hey, you jaywalk there. And he throws you on the car and does all that. What are you guilty of? Point is that they've got these overreaching laws on the books that really are against any type of common sense whatsoever. So you were 5 feet away from the curb and you got out of the crosswalk and made a little angle and walked out of the crosswalk. So what? So your friend sitting next to you puking all over his inside of his car, and you're driving his car, you're driving him home, you're sober, and you get pulled over. But also, let me make this point. Pedophilia is running rampant in all of these areas of control. I'm just going to put it that way because there's a lot of areas, such as our own federal government. I mean, shoot, the FBI and the CIA get bored and they look at porn sites. Are they guilty? Yeah, let's go arrest them for having pictures. Okay? The royals in England are known pedophiliacs. Pedophiliacs? How do you pronounce that word? There's a lot going on. Does that mean that they should get away with it? No. What I'm saying is, if they didn't commit the act, why are they guilty? If they just have pictures and they're trading pictures, my God! Do you have baseball cards? Remember those? Remember you traded those? Man, if you traded those and somebody got the wrong card or whatever, you didn't have to call out the SWAT team, did you? It's a personal choice and a personal matter. Why is it now the laws are requiring the militarized law enforcement to suppress personal choice? That is the point. If you love your wife, if you love your husband, and you do things in your own, home by consent and by choice, why should it matter to anybody else? Okay? Why should it matter to anybody else? What you put on your phone, what you download, what you upload, what you trade, what you send to people, what should it matter? It's your own personal choice. This is the thing. We don't have choices anymore. Well, no, let me retract that and say this. You and I personally have choices. The federal government, Washington, D.C., the corporates that control the hallways and byways of the nation's capital don't want you to have choice. They want you to be a good little boy and girl and just do this. We are Borg. You will be assimilated. Resistance is futile. Remember that in Star Trek Next Generation? Deep Space Nine? That's exactly what this whole system wants. Borg-like, robot-like people just to go along, and this is what we're going to do, and It was also mentioned many, many years ago, decades ago, by a current 20th century philosopher, writer, playwright, who said that literally the government, the system itself, wants people smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork, but not smart enough to take over. And this was written back in the 1950s. I want you all to know that I'm here to pull away the veil, pull away the curtain, to show you the facts, who's pushing the buttons and pulling the handles. And you know what? I'll do the best I can, but you should trust and verify. Trust and verify. There's a whole lot of things going on in this world today, and we need to be on top of it. We need to pay attention. Very, very close attention. Now, let me read you this before I go to the top of the hour break from AP, Associated Press. Christopher Sherman over there. Thank you, Christopher. McAllen, Texas. Overwhelmed by the arrival of thousands of unaccompanied immigrant children, the state of Texas relaxed its standards for the shelters that house them, easing rules governing how much space each child needs and what kind of facilities they should have. In some ways, the response to the influx resembled the reaction to a hurricane, and federally contracted shelters asking the state licensing agency to temporarily bend some of its regulations to accommodate a large population of children. As with a natural disaster, President Barack Obama put a federal emergency management agency in charge of coordinating the government's response. Disaster relief teams towed their portable showers and kitchens to the border, and Catholic charities took donations and distributed clothing and supplies to the displaced. Okay? That's a good sign to a point. Don't clap too much about that. There's a reason. There's something behind there. Just doesn't feel right. From the BrownsvilleHerald.com, Border Patrol agent robbed and killed. Father survives. From Raymondville, 2 Mexican nationals are in custody after authorities said they confessed to killing an off-duty U.S. Border Patrol agent and wounding the agent's father. The men face charges of capital murder, attempted capital murder, 4 counts of aggravated robbery, and tampering with evidence. The Vegas, that would be Javier Vega of Kingsville and his father, Javier Vega Sr. The Vegas were shot while gar fishing with the agent's wife, his mother, 2 children, and another child in Santa Monica area off of FM 1420 and about 3.5 miles east of the North Levee. Adding the location was their favorite spot. The suspects confessed of committing other robberies, but investigators did not know if they were behind the same series of robberies around Cameron County fishing spots. That guy leaves behind a 9-year-old, a 13-year-old, and an 18-year-old. From Breitbart.com, rape, death, and police pursuits continue as illegal immigrants flood Texas County. Some graphic images there. You can go to Drudge Report and find this in the middle column. DrudgeReport.com. I'm not going to put any of this on the Facebook page. The death toll continues to climb in the Falfurrias Death March region, also known as the ranchlands and highways of Brooks County. The toll on illegal immigrants who have died attempting to cross these ranch fields and bypass the Border Patrol checkpoint located at the center of Brooks County now stands at 44 as a woman was found dead this week. A woman reported being raped by her fellow travelers early this week, and another woman was seriously injured as she either bailed out of a car or was pushed from a vehicle she was riding in that was being pursued by a deputy sheriff. Okay? I don't know what else to tell you, folks. I'm ready to lead hundreds of people down to the border of Nevada to keep them out of here. Who's with me? Now, I know that some people are going to say, well, you can't do that. You can't keep people from, trying to live a better life. You can't, wait, whoa. Put the brakes on, Slim. What part of $18 trillion in debt don't you get? What part of we're borrowing money from China just to support ourselves don't you get? How much of the actual debt do you think we're ever going to be able to pay? USDebtClock.org says it's about $18 trillion that we owe. The actual number is somewhere about $65 to $80 trillion. So listen up, Junior. You ain't got nothing to say, because we need these borders closed to restore America and rebuild her back to being the industrious nation that it was prior to 1871. We need to get all of these criminal, politicians out of office. Oh, yeah. Don't insult my intelligence by saying we need Ted Cruz or Rick Perry to, be president. Rick Perry's a freaking globalist, people. Ted Cruz is wishy-washy. Rand Paul, yeah. Shall I say more? We need people like you and I in these offices, because we know what we're doing. We need business owners. We need doctors. We need, all. You know what we don't need in politics anymore? We don't need lawyers in politics. We don't need attorneys in politics. We don't need community organizers or constitutional professors. No. We need real people. I have a question for you. What do you think of Alan West? Is he another rhino? Is he? Are there Linos, Linos? Are there Dinos? No, folks. Let me spell it out for you. Let me give you a reality check on this 5th of August, 2014. How's this? It's all one and the same. It doesn't matter. George Washington, back in his exit speech from being president of the United States under the first president under the Constitution, literally said that we should not have political parties, because if we did, they would be influenced by what? Foreign countries. And in a roundabout way, that is what has happened. Research your history, folks. As a matter of fact, that piece of information I just gave you, KrisAnne Hall, KrisAnnehall.com, KrisAnneHall.com. She has podcasts you can listen to today. Today's podcast, or one of them, she talks specifically about that as well. So if you people think that things are going to look hunky-dory in the next 6 months or so, you people have got your head in the clouds. You understand me? You people absolutely do not know what the hell's going on. And let me remind you, I don't have all the answers myself. I'm learning my way through this, man. Even though I've researched this stuff for over 30 years since I was in high school and up till now, there's a lot of new stuff coming out, a lot of things I didn't know, and I'm just, I see something new. I may go look back on some of my old information and then come to the conclusion like, wow, that has changed. Look at what's happening now. And by the way, conspiracy theorists are right. Okay? That's just part of it. Top of the hour break, folks. I'll be back in 5.5 minutes. Whatever you got to do, go do it. Come on back here and I'll be here. Talk to you in a bit.
Shall we play a game?
Did you know that the first Matrix was designed to be a perfect human world where none suffered, where everyone would be happy. It was a disaster. No one would accept the program. Entire crops were lost. Some believed that we lacked the programming language to describe your perfect world, but I believe that as a species, human beings define their reality through misery and suffering. So the perfect world was a dream that your primitive cerebrum kept trying to wake up from. Which is why the Matrix was redesigned to this, the peak of your civilization.
I am wondering, why are you here?
This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce from The Views Expressed. Please come join me on The Views Express Live, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. The President of the United States turns the country into a dictatorship. And what happens after he does? Find out in the book Dictator-in-Chief by Brian Keller, available at Amazon.com or CreateSpace.com. Eastland Radio Repertory Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor? Do you want to hone your abilities? Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. We are currently looking for voice actors to fill certain character roles in an ongoing radio play in development. Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com.
Lock it on to the best station on the net.
For all you independent artists, musicians, and filmmakers, there is a place for you. Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. Go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com. What we see is not always the truth. Lies, deceit, cover-ups. This is the world we live in. It is not reality. It is distorted reality. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook and distortedreality.podbean.com.
What does freedom mean? Tune in to LRN.FM to find out. LRN.FM is the Liberty Radio Network, a collection of live talk radio and podcasts, all coming from a principled pro-liberty perspective. LRN.FM show hosts aren't left, right, or conspiracy kooks. You can tune in 24/7 to LRN.FM via your phone, computer, satellite, and more. Listen free anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
sharing the truth one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network.
Hey, folks, this is The Views Expressed live right here on the Free America Radio Network, broadcasting live from behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 9 from the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada. Welcome! It's August 5th, or as I like to say, the 5th of August, 2014. I don't know why I like to say it that way. It just sounds, I don't know, more official? I don't know. Welcome, folks. How you doing? I'm your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, giving you the truth with the facts. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, I don't know it all, folks, but I know enough to share it with you to hopefully help you make up your own mind. The Minority Report blog.com weekend must read 10 reasons, this author here says, why I am no longer a leftist. Let's find out what that is, shall we? The Minority Report blog.com. Modern so-called liberalism has strayed far from its classical liberal namesake. I won't even say classical liberal roots, because modern liberal progressive collectivists are the exact opposite of the meaning of liberal as in liberty. Modern liberals want to ban everything they don't like and make everything they don't like the right to use government force to make others pay for it. Definitely worth reading this concise explanation of how a leftist departed the modern liberal progressive orthodoxy. Folks, I heard something outside, so if you would please forgive me, let me play, or let me go to another short break. I shall return right after that to finish that article.
The views expressed, the high-caliber, armor-piercing Holotype round that pierces right through your soul, every weekday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time on Spreaker.com.
From politics to pop culture, current events and human interest stories, and even the paranormal, an eclectic radio adventure, he discusses it all and takes your calls. He's Spencer Hughes on The Spencer Hughes Show on blogtalkradio.com.
No elitist drivel, no media spin. Logic over emotion, fact over fiction. The home of independent conservative thought. The Conservative Voice with your host, Jeff Wagner, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
Get ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you, folks. Appreciate that very, very much. Appreciate that. Yes, a little something going on there. Anyway, I'm back. Yeah, anyway. The article stated that this person was no longer a lefty. So let's continue on. From the American Thinker by Danusha V. Goska. They say, how far left was I? So far left, my beloved uncle was a card-carrying member of the Communist Party in the communist country. In a communist country. When I returned to his Slavic village to buy him a mass card, the priest refused to sell me one. So far left that a self-identified terrorist proposed marriage to me. So far left, I was a 2-time Peace Corps volunteer and have a degree from UC Berkeley. So far left that my Teamster mother used to tell anyone who would listen that she voted for Gus Hall, Communist Party chairman, for president. I wore a button saying, "Eat the rich." To me, it wasn't a metaphor. I voted Republican in the last presidential election. Below are the top 10 reasons why I am no longer a leftist. This is not a rigorous comparison of theories. This list is an idiosyncratic, impressionistic, and intuitive. It's an accounting of the milestones of my herky-jerky journey. Okay. I will put this on the Wayne S. Pierce Show, actually on the Free America Radio Network, Free America Radio Facebook page, because it is interesting for you to see how far left this person was and where they went from there. Okay, it's on the Free America Radio Facebook page. As soon as it goes on there, oh my God. Anyway, there we go. I know leftists. I mean, hardcore progressive collectivist leftists. I know them. And let me tell you something. Very educated, very astute, very high up on the ranks of, corporate ladders. And I really cannot understand why they cannot see the problems that they are creating. Can someone answer that question for me? Can someone, if they're in the chat room over here on the Spreaker side of things, can you tell me why these far-left, liberal, collective, progressive leftists cannot see the problems they're creating? I'm serious. I mean, I grew up in a family with 2 hardcore Democrats, okay? And I, of course, growing up, I first registered as a voter when I was 29. And I registered as a Democrat. Found out what they were all about. 4 years later, registered as a Republican. Found out what they were all about. And then registered as independent. Then went to nonpartisan. Let me tell you something. I don't care if you went to UC Berkeley or UC, UCLA or any number of those governmental indoctrination institutes. But I can tell you right now, they are so brainwashed into thinking they're doing right that even some of the people that have left those parties, those leftist, socialist, Marxist, fascist, communist parties, look back on them going, you people are a bunch of freaking idiots. I look at 2 things in this world. I look at who are the radicals, other than the Muslim Brotherhood and the Islamic jihadists who we fund through our tax money, through the military-industrial complex. But you know who I mean, the other side of that coin is the far-left liberals, Marxist, socialist, communist, fascist, that play right into the hands of the corporations that control Washington, D.C. And you know what the end result of that is going to be? They're going to get chewed up and spit out like everybody else. Now, why do I say that? Took a vacation, took a couple weeks, had a few days, went over to San Francisco. You know what the minimum wage is in San Francisco? $10.74 an hour. California is a liberal state. You would think it would be more, right? No. $10.74 an hour. To live and just to make the basic living in San Francisco, you would need 3 times more than that. Now, I'm talking basic living, typical 1-bedroom apartment if you're single, 2-bedroom apartment if you're married, or 1-bedroom if you can't afford a 2-bedroom. Basic living. You know? I'm not talking about anything fancy, just basic. And I think it's the same way in Las Vegas. I don't know. Nick, are you still in the Spreaker chat? Mr. Nick Tucker from Distorted Reality is in the Spreaker chat before. Are you still hanging out there, dude? It's the same way in Las Vegas. And it's getting to be the same way in Reno, Nevada, where I'm currently broadcasting from. Because the controllers that operate behind the scenes want to enslave you. So they pay you a whole lot less than a living wage, cause you to get stuck. You then get into debt, which then you're in control. You're not in control of your money. They are in control of your money. This is why I say the corporations and all of those that control this whole system are going to chew you up and spit you out. Okay? This is how they do it. Any rational, thoughtful, resourceful, creative individual can see right through their freaking game in a minute. I did, and I was in high school when that happened. And I just graduated high school, and I was doing some research, and I figured out some more stuff that I didn't know a couple of years prior, and that was this whole system of voting, of elections, the Electoral College, all of it is rigged. All of it. Every last bit of it. So, folks, you can go around and pretend and you know, you can pretend your vote counts all you want, but it doesn't. You can pretend that the system is working for you. The only thing that it's working for, the only people it's working for and supports are those that come here illegally, getting in-state tuition, which is absolutely against the law. Don't believe me? Don't believe me, huh? Well. I got a little something to read for you here as soon as I find it. Let me oh, now I got to look for it. But anyway, yeah, there are certain things that our government, actually not certain things, our government is committing crimes right under our nose. Okay? Right under our nose. We know this. Okay? We know this. We understand this. And there literally comes a time when you just have to stop for a moment. Stop. And take a look at all of these things that are going on behind the scenes. You just have to stop and say, wait a minute, whoa. We who are of the awakened ones see this. The ones that are sitting around eating their freaking burritos and watching reality shows don't get this. For instance, U.S. Code 2011, Title 8, Chapter 14, Subchapter 2, Eligibility for State and Local Public Benefits Program. Aliens, this is 16, subsection 1621. Aliens who are not qualified aliens or non-immigrants ineligible for state and local public benefits, A, in general, notwithstanding any other provision of law, and except as provided in subsection B and D of this section, an alien who is not, 1, a qualified alien as defined in section 1641 of this title, 2, a non-immigrant under the Immigration and Nationality Act, 8, U.S. Code 1101, or 3, an alien who is paroled in the United States under section 212D5 of such Act, 8 U.S.C. 1182, for less than 1 year, is not, let me repeat, is not eligible for any state or local public benefits as defined in subsection C of this section. Basically, if they're sick, we need to take care of them. Much like Pete Santilli and the Border Convoy wants to do. Who's, sick, let's take care of them, let's send them back. Let's make sure they don't, let's get them medically screened. Let's get them, get some background checks going on with these people. But let's send them back because we don't want them here. Why? Well, financially, we just can't handle it anymore. And more just on the reality of the situation and bringing over diseases and all of this. This is what has been reported, okay? And frankly, we have to shut the borders. Now, I did a podcast and uploaded it, and I got a little passionate, quote unquote, in the first half hour of it. I don't apologize for what I say. We have to close the damn border, period. End of sentence, done. I'm ready, willing, and able to take a group of people down to the southern border of Nevada and keep them from coming in here. They don't like it, they can kiss my ass. Go elsewhere. Well, what about this? If they're sick, we'll take care of them. When you look back at the world wars and the wars we've been in, did you know that if the enemy captured one of our people and they were sick or hurt or something, they would take care of them? Some of them, they didn't. But some, they took care of them. Don't know what happened when they got healed up and ready to walk, but, this is not only a constitutional crisis that's happening in Washington, D.C., and this is not only a crisis per se in the general sense of the word. This is a national humanitarian crisis at the border. What part of close the damn border don't you understand? We need to take those Border Patrol stations over. We need to shut the border. We need to look at all these people crossing the line, even elsewhere, not even at the border crossings that are legal there, to come into this country legally. We need to send, all sorts of people down the line to find, areas where they're coming through. And we need to band together and stop this crap. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you're sick or, hurt or something, we'll take care of you. We'll help you out, but we're going to send your ass back. That's just the way it is. Because, number one, crossing the border, if you did not come to this country legally, we'll send your ass back. We don't care. For those that have done the right thing and went through all the hoops and crossed all your T's and dotted all your I's and did it legally, I applaud you. I want to shake your hand. I welcome you to the United States of America. Too bad it became a police state, and that's the type of government you left, but I am for immigration, legal immigration. Do it the right way, I'll shake your hand, I'll buy you a drink. Not a big deal. You cross that border illegally under the dark of night, or drive a vehicle over the fence, or dig your way or walk your way through a tunnel under the border. Not going to happen here, Slim. I'll make your day the worst day possible. Don't even think about it. This country is made up of laws that even we don't like, that are archaic. There's only one rule of law in this country, and that is the Constitution of the United States of America prior to 1871. That is the rule of law. If you cannot handle that, there's the border. Don't let it hit you in the ass on the way out. I'm serious. A lot of people might think that I'm controversial. A lot of people might think that I'm racist. A lot of people might think that I don't want people here. No, it's not that, folks. I got friends of every race, creed, and religion that you can think of. Hello? I'm not racist or prejudiced. I'm a realist. Statistics as of, I believe it was 2010, the last statistics I've seen, or maybe 2012. I think it was 2010. The last statistics I saw mentioned that over 65% of the illegal aliens that cross over the border and make their way into cities across the United States are being harbored as fugitives in the domestic street gangs that are in your cities. And these domestic street gangs know how to get new names, new everything. You know why? Because they're backed by the drug cartel in Mexico. And you know why they have the best, I don't want to say the best. Do you know why these drug cartels have the most powerful guns? You know how they can get them? Remember Fast and Furious? Just something to think about, folks. I'm going to skip the bottom of the hour break and just go, because I got an article to read here. Let me go back to let's go here. How about this? Let's go to Reuters. I know, I go everywhere, don't I? Let me give you my take on a couple of articles over there. As of today, a U.S. general killed, German general hurt in Afghan attack. Rupert Murdoch's Fox abandons Time Warner takeover bid. That would have been the biggest cable company in the world if he would have done that. U.S. heightens embassy security, anticipating report on CIA interrogations. Let's go to politics. No, actually, let's go to, pretty much politics. Let's go to world, first of all. Ceasefire agreed in Lebanese border town battle. See, there's battles all over the place, folks. It's not just Israel and the Gaza. Ukraine keeps up anti-rebel offensive with nervous eye on Russia. Israel withdraws troops. 72-hour Gaza truce begins. Yeah, that'll last. Give it 24 hours, folks. Putin tells government to respond to Western sanctions. Okay? Let's read that one. This is on Reuters. Russian President Vladimir Putin has ordered his government to prepare retaliatory measures against the latest round of Western sanctions, Russian news agencies reported on Tuesday. Quote, of course, it should be done carefully in order to support domestic producers and not hamper consumers, unquote, he was quoted as saying. I'm going to put this up on Free America Radio on Facebook. Let you take a gander at that. There's a few other things as well on there. I'm going to read another article right from that page as well. I'm going to click on the link as soon as I get back to it, folks. We do not, I repeat, we should not and do not negotiate with terrorists or with our enemy. From Reuters.com, quote, Russia doesn't make anything, unquote. West must be firm with China. Put up the 3rd of August, a couple of days ago. President Barack Obama dismissed Russia as a nation that, quote, doesn't make anything, unquote, and said in an interview with The Economist magazine that the West needs to be pretty firm with China as Beijing pushes to expand its role in the world economy. Obama has tried to focus U.S. foreign policy on Asia in response to China's economic and military might, but for months that pivot has been overshadowed by a flurry of international cries, including Russia's support for separatists in eastern Ukraine. Russia is the world's 3rd largest oil producer and 2nd largest natural gas producer. Europe relies heavily on Russian energy exports, complicating the West's response to the Ukraine crisis. There's nothing we can offer the Ukraine, folks. There's nothing we can offer Ukraine for anything because Russia's right there to fill the gap. Why? Dun, dun, dun. 3rd largest oil producer and the 2nd largest natural gas producer. We have nothing to offer the Ukraine. Okay? Obama downplayed Moscow's role in the world, dismissing President Vladimir Putin as a leader causing short-term trouble for political gain that will hurt Russia in the long term. Quote, I don't think it's important to keep perspective. Russia doesn't make anything, unquote, Obama said in an interview. Quote, immigrants aren't rushing to Moscow in search of opportunity. The life expectancy of a Russian male is about 60 years. The population is shrinking, unquote, he said. Obama told Putin last week that he believes Russia violated the 1988 Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty designed to eliminate ground-launched cruise missiles. Speaking of Russia's quote-unquote regional challenges, Obama said in an interview, quote, we have to make sure that they don't escalate where suddenly nuclear weapons are back in the discussion of foreign policy, unquote. Obama described U.S. tensions with China as manageable. Really? Anytime you want to know if President Obama is lying, all you got to do is watch his lips move. That's it. China is engaged in a territorial disputes with its neighbors in an oil-rich South China Sea and frequently skirmishes with the West over intellectual property issues. Quote, one thing I will say about China, though, is you always have to be pretty firm with them because they will push as hard as they can until they meet resistance, unquote, Obama told The Economist. Quote, they're not sentimental. They are not interested in abstraction. So simple appeals to international norms are insufficient, unquote. Obama said he believes trade tensions will ease when China shifts, quote, from simply being the low-cost manufacturer of the world, unquote, and its companies begin making higher-value items that need intellectual property protections. Quote, there have to be mechanisms both to be tough with them when we think that they're breaching international norms, but also to show them the potential benefits over the long term, unquote, he said. So what do you think, folks? I'll put that up on the Free America Radio Facebook page as well. China pretty much can walk into the United States and just say, mine, 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 and not so much. And, yeah, pretty much that's what they can do. You know, it's amazing that we have a president so wishy-washy. Actually, I don't even, I'm going to say this, I don't even consider him the president. He's a puppet. He's a puppet that is inside the suit that is controlled by the corporations that own the Oval Office. Okay? And what really ticks me off is the fact that this president actually believes his lies, or what he reads off of that teleprompter, because somebody else wrote those words, not him. I remember looking into some research material and about when President Kennedy was discussing with others how to take, how to get rid of the Federal Reserve and the IRS, and basically the Federal Reserve, and instead of having Federal Reserve notes, have United States notes like we did before. I remember reading some information about that. And then, of course, somebody didn't like that too much and decided that they were going to, do away with them, and, well, somebody got word of that, it got leaked out, and then they had to change their plans, and then, of course, November 22nd, 1963 happened. And basically, there was a lot of reasons that he was murdered. And it had nothing to do with Marilyn Monroe. Thank you very much. I believe that Chicago was a big win for him, and he needed that. So let's just say a few people that were behind the scenes pulled some strings and made it happen, and he won. He won the presidency. And then he started talking. Then his brother was Attorney General. Then he started talking and saying stuff like, I think we need to get rid of the Federal Reserve. We need to get rid of the IRS. We need to pull our troops out of, we need to stop these wars. We just need to do this. What we need to do is we need to change the way that America does business. Kind of like what Ross Perot said. Remember him? You'll hear a giant sucking sound. Well, somebody tried to do that. Somebody tried to change America to be better and to get rid of all the, well, as I like to say it, to get rid of the millstone around the neck of the United States. Well, we know what happened after that. We know that Johnson screwed things up. By the way, President Johnson had investments in companies that had military contracts. This is why he pushed for over 30,000 troops to go to Vietnam. He knew this. He knew this. I also believe he had something to do with the situation in the Gulf of Tonkin, 1964. He had to go to war. Why? Cha-ching. Follow the money, folks. This situation that's happening right now. Follow the money. Follow the money. Okay? Follow the money. I really think that if people were to stop today, right now, Just stop. Get rid of all the thoughts, all the preconceived ideas, and focus on what is happening. Your head would explode. Now, how else do you think this country would be? How do you think this country would fare if we got rid of the Federal Reserve, the IRS, got rid of 75% of all alphabet soup departments in Washington, D.C.? How well do you think this country would run? It would run quite well because each state is a country unto itself with all three branches of government. Can you say continuity of government? Because they saw that many years ago and decided, if Washington, D.C. goes down, where are we going to go? Can you say Denver, Colorado? Actually, it's Colorado Springs, but Utah, the Supreme Court, this is on Reuters.com under politics. Utah asked U.S. top court to hear a gay marriage case. Like we need to hear that. Those are all distractions, folks. I'm just showing you the distractions. Let's go to politics and politics home. Treasury weighing actions to stem tax avoidance. Connecticut governor criticized for campaign ads citing Sandy Hook massacre, which was another, staged event. U.S. intelligence officials looking into suspected new spy leak. Yeah, let's talk about that one. We got a few minutes. Mark Hosenball over at Reuters. Thank you, Mark. U.S. intelligence officials were considering on Tuesday whether to ask the Department of Justice to open criminal investigation into the suspected leak of a classified counterterrorism document to a website, a U.S. official familiar with the matter said. The intelligence officials were preparing a criminal referral over a publication on the Intercept website of a document that provides a statistical breakdown of the types of people whose names and personal information appear on two government data networks listing people with supposed connections to militants, the official said. The document was published by The Intercept on Tuesday, but it was dated August 2013. Some U.S. media reports speculate that a second leaker besides former U.S. spy agency contractor Edward Snowden had begun to send classified documents from inside the U.S. intelligence community to the media. An official familiar with the matter said, however, that the government does not know for sure that a second leaker exists. The apparent leak involves information on the Terrorist Identification Data Mart Environment Database, or TIDE, and a terrorist screening database, according to the document. The document posted by The Intercept, a multicolored graphic classified secret, says 680,000 names are watch listed in the terrorist screening database, an unclassified data network which is used to draw up more selective government watch lists. It says 280,000 of the 680,000 people are described by the government as having, quote, no recognized terrorist group affiliation, unquote. Around the same number of people on the list have suspected connections to several specific militant groups, including Al-Qaeda, Hamas, Hezbollah, it says. The graphic says that the more selective lists include a no-fly list totaling 47,000 people who are supposed to be banned from air travel, and further selectee list of 16,000 people who are supposed to get extra screening by security personnel before being allowed to board aircraft. The graphic says the screening database is in turn extracted from TIDE, a larger ultra-classified database which contains 320,000 more names than the unclassified one, as well as raw intelligence information excluded from the screening system. Because the graphic carries a secret classification, An official said the agency which generated it, the National Counterterrorism Center, is obliged to consider submitting a referral to the Department of Justice, which then can decide if a criminal investigation should be opened into the leak. It's not a leak, folks. It's a whistleblower. Okay. Because Edward Snowden was already out of the country at the time that this thing came out in August of 2013. I think he was out of the country or preparing to leave. Snowden, who has worked closely with two founders of The Intercept, writer Glenn Greenwald and filmmaker Laura Poitras, I think that's how you pronounce it. Sorry, Laura. Left his post as a national security agency contractor in Hawaii in May of last year. He is not known to have had access to any secret materials since then. Last month, The Intercept, which is financed by eBay founder Pierre Obandiar, also published a lengthy document setting out the criteria and procedures by which names are placed into terrorist watch list databases. That document was labeled, quote, unclassified for official use only, sensitive security information, unquote. So we have another whistleblower, do we? Yeah. We do. What says you? There's a lot of things going on, folks. A lot of things. A lot of things happening. Okay? I cannot sit here and specifically tell you how many times I see articles in the morning that are either changed or spun by the mainstream media that afternoon. I cannot tell you. I cannot even count on my hands and toes how many times I see that. Okay? I can, however, break all of that down and sometimes make a composite of what is happening and show you what's going on and give you names, places, dates, and read you articles like that and verify most of the stuff that I'm talking about. Okay? I want to go down to Southern Nevada right now in an article from the Las Vegas Sun. And give you this bit of information. Rancher Cliven Bundy's son arrested on outstanding warrant. A 34-year-old son of Nevada rancher who hosted armed protesters against federal agents in a cattle roundup dispute in April has been arrested in a separate case. Metro police say Cliven Lance Bundy was arrested without incident Monday and booked on charges of criminal contempt and parole violation. He had been named in a contempt of court warrant issued July 8th for failing to appear before a Clark County District Court judge overseeing a drug diversion program in Las Vegas. He has a felony conviction on a 2012 burglary and weapons charges. Cliven Lance Bundy told the Associated Press last month that he underwent surgery that same day in Henderson for a nerve pain condition. He said he was trying to get his program counselor to help him respond to the warrant. Really? It'll all come out in court. Las Vegas area sees first tornado in more than a decade. Why Las Vegas has recovered better than Atlantic City since the recession. So we got that financial news going on. Now, I want to, well, before I say what's on my mind, let me read this. This is also from the Las Vegas Sun in the editorial section. Immigration woes point to bigger problems. Immigration officials have detained more than 45,000 unaccompanied children from Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador since October, a startling number driven by terrible conditions in their home countries. The news has set off a new round of debate about immigration, which once again is marked by simplistic sound bites and inaccurate statements masquerading as facts. Beyond the emotional appeals on all sides, there are many erroneous platitudes that have driven the discussion. Secure the border and everything will be fine. If only it were that simple. The United States has spent billions of dollars trying to improve border security, but that hasn't kept people out. The focus has been on the border with Mexico. Sorry, Canada. Last year, there were 18,611 Border Patrol agents assigned to the southern border, almost double the number from 2003. There also is a stretch of fencing of more than 650 miles along the southern border. Doing more will cost billions of dollars, but the return on investment may be small. Why? Nearly half of all immigrants in question entered this country legally and overstayed their visas. We should just deport them. People who want to crack down on immigration assume it's easy as rounding up people and shipping them to their home countries, but it's not that simple. Why? For one reason, there is due process to protect American citizens and legal immigrants. Authorities can't just scoop people up and demand that they show proof of citizenship or legal residence. There's also a huge cost, about $2.8 billion a year, to detain and remove illegal immigrants. They're criminals, not necessarily. Entering the United States illegally is a criminal act under federal law, typically a misdemeanor. But just being here without authorization, such as overstaying a visa, is not a crime. Federal officials can pursue deportation in those cases, but it's a civil, not criminal matter. They are taking American jobs. There's no doubt immigrants here without legal permission work at a variety of jobs, but it's difficult to prove that millions of Americans have lost their jobs because of them. For example, for the past several years, farmers have reported a labor shortage because the Mexican economy has improved. Yet many farmers, they say, haven't seen U.S. workers jump at a chance to do farm work. By the way, folks, to make a note, when I was a teenager, out of high school, I did farm work. I cannot complain. Let's put it that way. Last but never the least, illegal immigrants are draining the economy. That depends on whom you ask. Anti-illegal immigration activists say so, but other studies have shown the cost of illegal immigration isn't as big as it's made out to be. Although immigrants who are in this country illegally don't pay income tax, they do pay sales and gas tax, among others. They also spend money boosting the economy, and they often don't request government services such as police for fear of being deported. The bottom line, the arrival of thousands of Central American children at our nation's borders is tragic, but it's just a symptom of a larger problem. A broken system. Immigration laws don't work, nor do policies that split families and send people, many of whom were born elsewhere but grew up here, back to countries they never knew. Congress and the nation need to put away the stereotypes and false beliefs that dominate the debate and find a sensible solution that doesn't include spending billions of dollars to lock people up simply for looking for a better life. That is in the editorial section from the 3rd of August, 2014 in the Las Vegas Sun. I will post that on the Free America Radio Facebook page for you to take a look at. So, really? Seriously? Is that time? Holy crap. Folks, if you want to support Free America Radio Network, you can, if you can, only if you can, but I am really looking for your support at this time because Free America Radio Network is going to the next level. No, we're not going to iHeartRadio, not even in a million years, okay? You can't pay me enough to go over to that stupid place. There's reasons why. But we need your help. So if you can, please do. Appreciate that very much. Go to freeamericaradio.us. Go to the bottom of the page. You can donate with Bitcoin if you are so inclined to do so and have such. Or you can donate. So there you go. Or if you want to sponsor the show, you can do that. Go to the sponsors page at freeamericaradio.us. Check that out. Of course, if you have any questions whatsoever, please ask. More than happy to answer them. I don't know everything, but at least I'll probably answer your question correctly. So please email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. If you want emergency food supplies, I got those too. Go to freeamericaradio.us, top of the page, click on Emergency Food Supplies. Get as many as you like. You not only help you and your family out, you're also helping support Free America Radio Network. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. If you have a show on Spreaker, website where you broadcast your show, whatever it is, whatever it may be, a blog, let me tell you this. Promotions, for me to promote your site and to promote your show, free. That's free. Doesn't cost you a dime. Unless you're selling something, then that would be advertising. And, of course, go to the sponsors page and we'll talk. If you have any audio clips that you want to send me of things that are happening in your area, or you have little 5-minute, news, clips that you do, please send those. I'll run those all day long, or at the top of the hour at least of the show, and or the bottom of the hour, depending. And you can send those to freeamericaradio@usa.com. Freeamericaradio@usa.com. More than happy to get you involved in Free America Radio Network. If you have a show that you do, I can either link to your page, or you can send me, a way to download your show, and I'll just upload it here. Generally an hour. If you've got an hour, I got an hour, we can do it. Hey, there you go. But the easiest way to do is to just send me the link to your page where your show is at, and I'll put it up on the website at freeamericaradio.us, and I'll promote it from there. If you want to support the website and support Free America Radio Network, you can do that too as well. I'm developing packages for putting up graphics on my website for your shows and everything like that. And even if you're selling something, that's advertising. So obviously you're going to be helping you out, and you're going to be helping Free America Radio Network out. And that's cool. Thank you. Send me a graphic. We'll work out the advertising, and all is good. So there you go. It's a win-win situation. So I will be here tomorrow, and at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Free America Radio Network. I don't know about the Wayne S. Pierce show at noon, but there will be at least a podcast. So I don't know. I'm pulling back a lot on the broadcast. I said a lot. I've kind of, that's kind of an exaggeration. I'm kind of refining and retooling the show. So give me time. Be patient. If I'm not on live, then, and there's a podcast up for the Views Express Live or Views Express podcast, then, be patient with me. I'm retooling the whole situation. So, hey, it's for you, man. If you want to be part of that, let me know. freeamericaradio@usa.com. If you want to sponsor the show, awesome. Okay, thank you. freeamericaradio@usa.com. And folks, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go have a nice night. So thank you for listening. I appreciate that very much. You go and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, the 5th of August, 2014, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Free America Radio Network, on the Views Express Live. And, hey, got a question? Ask freeamericaradio@usa.com. Remember this, folks. Remember one thing, please. We the people have the power, for we are America.